How many times in the call?
3 to 5.
3 to 5 times?
Depending
okay.
on how long the conversation is.
Okay. How many times are you using their name in the call?
Like 3 to 6.
3 to 6, okay. Casey?
3 to 5.
3 to 5, okay. Are we finding that to be effective?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a
Are you
difference.
using the first name or the last name?
Depends if I can say the first name.
If you can say the first name,
Yeah.
okay. If you can't use the
I
last name?
use the first name, but if I can't pronounce it, I'll
Okay.
do last.
If they're an older person, like if they're like in their mid-50s or early 60s, I'll say like Mr. or whatever their last name is. I feel like they respond better to that
Okay.
for some reason.
Okay. Alright. Use their name as much as possible. This is accomplishing what? Why do I have that in the book?
Not a robot.
Rapport.
Not a robot, build rapport, okay? So, number one, use a person's name. The reason why we do that is to build rapport. Alright, what's the second one?
Build rapport early. Create common ground by asking a question on the answer to.
Alright, so the first two, really, you want to make a connection as fast as possible. Alright, whether you're calling an internet lead, an old sold customer, someone coming in for service, a lease renewal, unsold follow-up, whichever person you're calling, doesn't matter what type of lead it is, can we all agree that you want to do these two things?
Absolutely.
Okay, can we all agree that these two things are important?
Mm-hmm.
Because building rapport is going to do what?
Help get you the appointment.
Yeah, it's going to
Build a connection.
build a connection,
Break down the wall.
break that, that's what I was looking for. Alright, has anyone that you don't know have called you before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so when you first answer the phone, is your guard up a little bit? You kind of have a wall up. Hey, who are you? I don't know you. What do you want? So every person that answers the phone, they're gonna have this. They're gonna have a wall that you have to help break down. So that's why you build rapport early, to break down the defenses, create a connection, and you're getting them to open up. Even if it's an internet lead that's less than 24 hours to open, you know, sometimes the customer will put in a lead and, you know, they didn't really know exactly, you know, how many people were going to call them, and they're still not sure what they want to do. So they're still not 100% sold on the dealership that they put the information in or the person that's calling them. So you got to just keep that in mind. Have that mindset. Even though the person put in the information, they're not 100% sold that they're going to buy a car from there. It's not a done deal. By no means it's even close to being a done deal. You still have to build that connection, you know, build rapport, Tyler. You have to break down the defenses and get them to still open up, just like with the old soul training that we do, right? It's, you know, intro and then intent / build rapport to get them to open up so you can tell them about the offer, right? Remember going over that? All right. So what's number 3? Ask either or questions. Are we doing this every time? Yeah? Casey's like, oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's all I say.
That's all you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we all agree that this works? Okay. So this will turn a call that you feel lost into an appointment. All right. This gives you direction on where to go. The either or questions, you give them 2 choices. They're gonna pick one, and you'll have the ability to, you know, get ultimately ask either or questions. It's gonna lead to what?
Appointment.
This is how you get from somebody that answers the phone and gives you very short responses, right? How you doing today? Okay. You know, saw you put some information online, just want to see if I can help. Just looking. Has everybody gotten contact with that type of lead where they don't want to give you any information but they answer the phone? Has that happened to everybody?
Yeah.
Tyler? Okay. So when that happens, the either or questions really come into play. Or when you're getting objections, right? Acknowledge the objection, and then what do you do after that? After you acknowledge the objection, you give them rebuttal, but then on the heavy internet training that we do, what do you do after the rebuttal? Either or question.
Either or questions.
Okay. So you get an objection, you give them a rebuttal, then you hit them with the either or question, and you continue to move the call towards an appointment.
It'll make them answer the question, and they'll like.
Yes.
They won't forget, but they'll almost forget they said no. So
It's this is a key thing that you're doing by doing either or questions. This is you're controlling the conversation. All right. That is what the either or questions are doing. All right, so it's very important that you do that even when you get objections or if you get somebody that's not giving you much information. So, either or questions, do this on every single call. It's going to lead to an appointment. What's number 4?
You must have a great tone of voice. Tone of voice is 90% of the call. The words are the other 10.
Okay, tone of voice. How important is this, Casey?
Very important.
Why?
Because if your tone of voice projects your
Mhm.
personality and how
Mhm.
you're feeling in that moment, and
Yeah.
if you're talking all monotone and sad, they're gonna
Right.
be like, "Why are you calling
I
me?"
think you're a
Exactly.
robot.
Yeah, you want to talk
Exactly.
happy.
You could be saying the same exact thing, and the tone of voice could be down. And then if you higher the tone of voice, you make it better, the tone of voice is improved. You can be saying the same words, but you can get a completely different response. Okay? So it's not necessarily the words you're saying. If you have a good tone of voice, then the ability to build a connection, build a rapport early, break down their defenses is going to increase because the tone of voice is going to be more inviting. So the tone of voice, work on this every day, okay? What would be the perfect tone of voice? Can anybody give me an example of the perfect tone of voice?
You want us to like role play it or?
Just if you want to give me a summary of what the perfect tone of voice would be, if you could kind of describe what the perfect tone of voice would be on a call.
So like upbeat, happy,
Energetic.
Energetic,
friendly.
yeah. Because
Like
somebody-
you're talking face to face.
well, and you got to just think about it from your own point of view. If you, or if somebody calls you, right, and they're very happy and energetic, you're going to be more likely to talk to them, right? When somebody is just not in a good mood, and on top of that, they're calling you. So if somebody's reaching out to you, and then if you combine that with the person that just interrupted your day, called your phone, and then on top of that, Tyler, they were not energetic and positive, what are the chances of you staying on the phone?
Hang up on them.
You're just gonna hang up on them, right? So if you get hung up a lot, that means your tone of voice needs to improve dramatically. So this is extremely important. I would work on this every day, even if it's just kind of acknowledging it before you get on the phones of okay, let me focus on my tone of voice being extra positive, extra upbeat. Let me sound inviting. You want to sound like somebody that the other person on the line wants to talk to, right? So just think about that. Think about the person on the other line when they pick up the phone. Do you sound like somebody that they would want to talk to? And just ask yourself that before you get on the phone. So what does the tone of voice lead to?
Appointment.
An appointment, but more dynamically than that, Tyler. The tone of voice in the beginning of the call. What does this ultimately lead to? Why is tone of voice important? Rapport. It goes back to rapport and building a connection. All right, that's why you ultimately want to do the rapport. The tone of voice to build the rapport. If the tone of voice is inviting, you're going to build rapport better, you're going to build a connection, then you can get them to open up. And then when you're going into your offer or whatever you have to say, they're more likely to listen to you, right? And then at the end of the call, after you've been on the call for 3 to 5 minutes or however long, when you ask them to come in, what are the chances of them saying, oh, you know what, I can make it in on Saturday, instead of, oh, I'm busy, call me back next week. You see, everybody has stuff to do, Tyler. Everybody has stuff to do, Casey. Everybody's busy. If you can work on using your name, building the rapport early, use your tone of voice and build that connection, you're gonna see a lot more people saying, "Oh, you know what? I can make it in on Friday, or I can make it in tomorrow," instead of them saying, "Oh, I'm too busy. I can't make it in," and call me back. So work on the name, the build rapport, tone of voice, and you're gonna get more people agreeing to come in for an appointment. What's number 5?
Always give a rebuttal when you first hear an objection. You must have a quick response.
Always. Can we honestly all sit here and say we do this every time? Are we doing this every time?
So for the most part.
The most part, okay.
Depends on the response.
So it's not every time? Every time or no?
Depends on the response. Like,
So not every time? Every
For the
time?
most part.
Okay, so for the most part is not every time. Can we
Yeah.
agree on that? Okay, so for the most part could be 90% maybe? Maybe even 95%? Always, every time. Alright, what's the next one?
follow up.
Follow up, okay? Follow up, always follow up. I've gone over that probably every day with you guys. Everybody knows follow up is important, right?
You can control.
Focus. On what you can control. What can we control?
On how many calls and how good your
How
tone
many
voice
calls?
is, and the rest will come together.
How many calls? What else can we control? What else can we control?
Tone of voice.
Tone of voice?
What we say.
Yeah. So can we control how positive we are every day?
Yeah.
Yeah? We can
For the
control our
most
tone of voice? What is that?
I
What's
said
it?
for the most part.
No, we can, 100%. There's no for the most part there. It's your mind, so. How many calls, so we can control how many calls we make, right? We can control how hard we work, Tyler, right?
Yeah.
We can control that, right? Cause you can go in, into the office and you can get on the phones and you can make a call as soon as you hang up the phone, and you could technically skip lunch and not eat all day and make 300 calls a day. Right? Now, I don't expect you guys to do that,
It's a lot
but
of calls.
it is possible, is what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to explode. You're not gonna melt. You actually could do that. You could come in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and you could work till 9 o'clock at night, and you can just dial the phone, hang up, pick up. Will anyone die doing that? No? So that is possible. So before you say, oh, I'm not having a good month, the leads are bad, no one's showing up to their appointments, what are some other excuses that we get? Voicemails, I'm getting voicemails, right? So before you say all that stuff, this is mindset, focus what you can control. Before you say all that stuff, now I'm not even talking about coming to me and saying that. I'm saying way, way before that. Before you tell yourself, right, that little voice in your head, like when you're working, before that little voice even pops up, case you're like, oh, it's just a voicemail day, right? I have no idea they're even thinking this at this point. This is hours before that happens. Before that happens, I just want you to think, Tyler, for yourself, can I make more calls today? Can I work on my tone of voice? Is it possible? Is it physically possible? And the answer is going to be yes. The question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to do it?